If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Friday, December 7th, 2012. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. Elizabeth Beisel will join us in the Finis Monitor today. The two-time Olympic medalist has been swimming very well since the Olympics, setting herself up for a great NCAAs in her junior year at the University of Florida. And Elizabeth joins us right now from Gainesville. Hey Elizabeth, always good to see you. How are you today?
Great, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Always great to have you. So, we haven't talked to you since the Olympics. What's been going on with you?
A lot. It was great. I spent a couple days afterwards in London and, just traveled around with the family. And then I got to go home to Rhode Island, which was a little bit crazy. But, then I got back to school and everything's back to normal now. School just ended for me yesterday. I finished all my exams, so I'm pretty happy about that. But that means that Christmas training just started, so I'm not very happy about that, but yeah, no, everything's been great.
Tell us about those exams. How did they go?
I think they went pretty well. It was bad timing because all of my exams were on Tuesday and Wednesday. I had 4, and we had our invite last weekend, so it was a little bit hard, like studying and the exams and swimming and all that stuff. So I was like studying in between sessions, but I think it went well.
Well, I couldn't imagine trying to do all that, especially at a prelims finals meet. All you want to do is take a nap.
Oh my gosh, I know. Don't worry, I still got a nap in though.
Well, good. Well, good. So, and you talked about Christmas training. Are you going to be going back to Rhode Island?
Yep, I will be. We're allowed to leave on the 20th to go home, and then we have to be back on the 28th for morning practice. So I get like a solid weekend. So I'll be able to see Chuck. He'll be fresh off his trip from Turkey. So hopefully you'll have some good stories from that because I won't be able to go.
We just recently talked to your former Bluefish teammate, Laura Sogar, who was telling us about how, as well as all that training at Bluefish set her up for her time at Texas, is not something that she always looks forward to going back to at Christmas. But I would imagine you probably do, because it's kind of the same training you do at Florida. Yeah,
it's similar in many ways. Some of the days I don't look forward to because, like, for Thanksgiving, when I always come home the day before Thanksgiving every year, we have like our annual practice, and it's normally around like 20 to 25,000 meters or yards, and it's like 6 hours long, and that's always just like so dreadful to know that I have to go home to. But I'm used to hard stuff like that, high volume, so it's not so bad for me.
Did you do that this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I did.
Well, that is brutal. It was brutal. Well, it paid off for you. I mean, you're swimming really well. 4:00:61 in the 400 IM end season. Now, it's unusual for Florida to get a rest during the season. I mean, you guys are always swimming tired through the season, and you start to come down for the SEC meet where you get your cut. So, is this a new philosophy there for Florida? Do an in-season rest so you guys get your cuts then?
I think so, and I think it worked really well. The entire meet went well for everybody, and I think more of the reason that Coach Troy had us, come down for 2 or 3 days before the meet was just because our dual meet record isn't the best right now, and not all of us are very confident in everything, and we're always training hard and we're always tired, so we really haven't seen those fast times yet. So I think Coach Troy allowing us to have 2 or 3 days and putting on suits at night was really helpful just for us, and believing that, okay, we're actually a really good team, like we can surprise some people at the end of the year. So I'm definitely glad that we were able to get some fast times in.
In addition to the IM, you went 152 in the 200 back, 434 in that 500, really good time. Were you surprised by the results?
Absolutely. I had no idea where I was going to be. Coming off of the Olympics this summer, I was sort of a pain the first 2 or 3 months of training just because, we're in that post-Olympic depression. I don't know, some people get it. I got it for sure. So I wasn't really willing to work as hard as I should have. So I was sort of expecting the worst going into this meet, and I came out with some pretty fast times. It was the best time in the 500. So I can't really complain about where I am right now.
Well, you mentioned that post-Olympic depression. A lot of your teammates got the ability to take some time off because they're either post-grads or whatnot, and I would imagine you had to get right back into swimming. You got right back into school at Florida. So how did that really affect you mentally?
It's really hard. I didn't experience it nearly as bad in 2008 as I did this go around, and I think that's just because I was surrounded by I'm surrounded by Olympians here at Florida, and I think I was pretty jealous of seeing, Connor and Ryan going on all these cool trips to, meet all these celebrities and stuff, and I was stuck here in Gainesville doing school and swimming, and it's really hard because you come off such a high at the Olympics, and the Olympics went well for me, so I was just so excited and everything was going well in life, and then I had to come back here and get back into hard training right away, and I missed everybody from the team in the Olympics, and I didn't really have the same training group that I had before the Olympics, and it was just sort of a hard transition, and the coaches knew like what was happening with me, and they're like, it's okay, like you'll be okay in a couple months, and I'm fine now. It just takes a while to get over and get used to the normal life again. So
I'm sure. Well, this is something probably you can look forward to in 2016. You'll be a post-grad then, so you can take all that time to kind of do what you want and travel with Ryan and Connor and things like that.
Yeah, I'm 2016 too, so I can travel for like years after that. I don't have to get back in the pool at all.
Yep, no more 400 IM for Elizabeth Beisel.
No more.
Well, let's talk about that Olympics. I mean, really good swims for you. Silver medal in that 400 IM, bronze in the 200 back. And we all know how excited you were. I mean, we saw, for instance, a photo of you on the medal podium with Missy, getting a big hug from her. I mean, was it just a big relief off your shoulders after all these years of kind of being right there in medal contention to finally walk away with Olympic medals?
Yeah. It was so nice, especially after 2008 when I was 4th and 5th. I was sort of, I wasn't like bitter, but I was like, oh man, it would have been cool to get a medal. So it's more pressure because the Olympics only comes around every 4 years. So you're like, well, I better do it this time. And so it's definitely, when I touched the wall in the 400 IM, I was like, oh my gosh, biggest weight off my chest ever, just because, I got a medal. I was so excited. It was the best time. And, the entire trip was amazing. I think it was the best team that I've ever been a part of, friend-wise. Like, we all worked so well together, and there was no tension between anybody and stuff. So it was definitely an amazing trip, and I miss it, like, every day.
Well, everybody keeps talking about that. This was the best team ever. I mean, from your perspective, compare it from 2008 to this year.
I mean, both teams were amazing, obviously, but I think this year as a whole, we were all just focused on having, like, enjoying the meet. And in 2008, I know for me, I was just super nervous and didn't really know where or what to do with myself. And I was just too focused on everything and every little detail. But this time we were all having fun, like, we made the Call Me Maybe video, which was awesome. And we were so into the meet, like, cheering wise, and we wanted everybody to do well, and everybody was friends with everybody. So it was different than 2008, but, I definitely like this time better than 2008. So.
I'm sure. You got some hardware to prove it.
Yeah, definitely.
When you look at those medals, I mean, what comes to mind? What do you think of now?
I think, well, the first thing when I look at my medals, I always think about, like, the award ceremony, and I think that's the coolest part of the Olympics is when you're able to stand on the podium and just, even if it's not your national anthem playing, just seeing the flag raised for you and what you did for your country. I think that's one of the coolest moments ever. But I think it also represents, like, all the hard work that I've done and, what Chuck has done for me and what Coach Troy has done for me and all the coaching staff here at Florida and my family and stuff. And it represents that, and it's something that I'm definitely grateful, and I'm never going to really forget anything or anybody that has helped me along the way. So.
Well, I want to talk about that 400 IM. A lot of controversy stemmed from that. It kind of actually overshadowed your swim with Ye Shiwen in that final 100 free. I mean, you had probably the best perspective of that. You were in the lane right next to her. She kind of went right by you in that freestyle. I mean, what are your thoughts on her going a 59 at the end of a 400 IM?
I give her credit to outsplit Ryan and Michael and a ton of the guys in the final heat is amazing. And it it was sort of tough for me because I had trained, for my last 100 to be awesome. And Coach Troy would always tell me, if you touch first in the breaststroke, you're gonna win. So in that race, I touched first at the 300. I was like, all right, I'm gonna win a gold medal. This is great. And then like 15 meters later, I like turned to my right, and I was like, nope, I'm not. And it was hard. That last 100 hurt a lot, and I'm sure it hurt for her too. But she had a great swim. I don't want to take anything away from her. There's been a lot of accusations on her side, but she's innocent until proven guilty. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what she, I think she's fair. She swam fair race, and so.
Well, it sounds like it's what happens in swimming. That somebody breaks a barrier and then everybody else follows. Do you think there's a 59 possible for women now in the 400 IM?
Oh yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, yeah, I've seen. I think like that for freestyle, like Federica, who's the one that always
Pellegrini when she went under 4 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, she can bring it home in under a minute, and it's just it's not a common thing, so people are obviously going to question it at first, but Coach Troy's goal for me is to bring it home in under a minute, and I believe I can do that. It's going to take a lot of work, and I'm going to have to get into better shape in order to do that, but it'll definitely be done. So.
And Elizabeth, you got to stop thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to win a gold medal. Just focus on the swim.
Yeah, I know. I was just so excited. And I blame it on Coach Troy.
Yeah, well, okay. Blame it on him.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole year, 2012, I mean, I would say it's been one of your, maybe it has been one of your best years ever. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think, I definitely think so, actually. I think I surprised myself in later, or like in February when SECs were NCAAs. It was the fastest I've ever swam short course, and I don't really consider myself a short course swimmer. And then the Olympics went really well for me. I went a best time my 200 back, which hasn't happened in 4 years. So, and a best time my 400 IM. So I really have nothing to complain about. I've been constantly improving since I've got to Florida, and hopefully it'll stay that way. I mean, we'll see.
Well, I think the next goal for you is to add to that national trophies case behind you for Florida.
Hopefully. We'll see. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome, Elizabeth. Well, always great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Glad you're done with exams. I feel your pain with Christmas training coming up, having gone through many of those in my life. So best of luck with that as well. You'll come out the other side grinning, I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you at NCAAs.
Okay, see ya.
All right, so that's Elizabeth Beisel joining us in the Finis Monitor, and that's going to do it for today's Morning Swim Show. As always, we invite you to join us on swimmingworld.com, on Facebook, and on Twitter to join us for the latest swimming news. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching, and have a great weekend.